Good evening, friends, and welcome. This is Lisa Maynard, and it's Kit Crush Wednesday, and I'm so excited that you're with us tonight. We are going to be looking at the November paper pumpkin this evening, and it is a little gift boxes, and they're very, very cute that can be used for Christmas. So if you're not a paper pumpkin subscriber, you can still subscribe and then get the refills for this kit. And then you can make these also, because the refills come with everything, well, except the stamp spot, but you can always get a stamp pad or use one that you've got from another kit to substitute for that. So without waiting any further, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around, and we are going to take a look at this evening's project. So let's just go ahead and get started. Here we go. Here are the two gift boxes that come in this kit. One is got a red and green tag, and they're two tags with lots of different little elements on it. And then when you flip it over, it says, "Sending a little Christmas cheer from our home to yours." And then this one has a little banner that says "Merry Christmas" on it. And on the back side, "A gift for you with love." So we'll be able to see those a little bit better as we're going ahead and making those. And then to open them, they just open from the top like that. So very, very simple and super cute. And so we're going to make two of those this evening. And then they have these little embellishments and everything on them. Super cute. Not hard to make at all. So I'm going to go ahead and slide those up there. Let's go ahead and bring our kit in and show you what is included. So we have a stamp set. I have already pasted some of these stamps on some blocks. So that's why you don't have all of those. And then we also have the stamp spot for this kit is Mossy Meadow. Now you won't have an ink pad because it's a paper pumpkin, and you only get, or not an ink pad and block. You only get it on your first subscription. Then we have our instructions, very, very useful. We have the little insert that comes with all of the kits, even the paper pumpkin, and it shows you the sentiments and all the stamps. So as you can see, I have some of those already on blocks. So that's very helpful. So you know that you have everything. Now we've got our little embellishments, our little mini glue dots, our Stampin' Dimensionals, which we're going to need. So I'm going to leave those there. Then we have our die cut pieces. And this is actually, you're going to use both sides of these. So it's very interesting that there's different colors on different sides. So I'll walk you through that. Our bow elements right there. Then we've got our tags, the longer tags with these stripes on them that are going to be the background. And then our more normal tags, actually they're reversed because we're going to stamp on that side, and then the colored side faces up. And the rest of the gift boxes that I'll show you how to put together. They're actually very, very easy. It's not difficult at all. So we're going to go ahead and stick all of this back in here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to put those over there, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in our first tag. And I've already prepped it, so to speak, with the parts and pieces and already stamped a little bit on it, but we're going to go ahead and stamp the rest of it. So let's put those over there for right now. We have, this is the back part of our tag, and this is the front. We are going to stamp on the back of this in Mossy Meadow, and I'm just going to use my full size stamp pad here, just because it's easier. So I'm going to set that right there. And then we are going to stamp this sentiment, "Gift for you with love," a gift for you with love. Now, again, like I did last week, I believe, or the week before, I put two stamps on one block. And that is just a very quick way to do your stamping. So you don't have to, you can ink up once and stamp once and get everything you need in one area and with one time at one time. So we're going to go ahead and put this right about right there on the back of that. Now the red and the red, but when you turn it over, it is green. So the green part is going to be the part that is up. And then on this also, we're going to stamp a little wreath on the front of it that when you look up close, you're going to be able to see this wreath a little bit through our layers. So let me go ahead and close this up because I don't want to get my hand in it. And I've already stamped the Merry Christmas. So that's all we have to do stamp wise on this one. So let's go ahead and bring in our elements here. And I have two of the elements. Now, you noticed that it's green on one side and the beige natural color on this side. I put my Stampin' Dimensionals on this side because this is the side that I want to show. You can do it however you want. I'm just following the directions. And then again, a darker green and a lighter green. According to the instructions, we want the lighter green to show. So I've got my two little mini glue dots on there. And I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off of those, just like so. It's pretty easy. Maybe get the backing off of those. And then we're just going to, I'm going to have my circle part. See, I've got a circle there. The where it little separates a little bit right there. So I'm going to put my other separated circle part on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of place these together, pick them up, place them together like that, and just give it a little press. And there we have our wreath. Now this wreath is going to go on my tag like that. And then you can see, you're not going to be able to see it really, but if you can see, you're going to see some of that little stamped image show through. So let's go ahead and take the backings off of those little Stampin' Dimensionals. And then I think I want it right about like so. And there's my dimensionals right there. And if you can see a little bit of that stamped image all the way around. Now, the last part of this part of the tag is the Merry Christmas. I put the Stampin' Dimensionals closer to the center so that it'll space that, and then you'll be flat on these. You could do it either way. You could also put them on the edges and then it even pop up a little bit more. But I liked the fact that I wanted this to be basically, I don't know if I got the backing off of that. Oh, there we go. I wanted this to basically be flush with the wreath on the ends. So everything is popped up at the same height. So there is that part. Super, super cute. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to tie these together. Now I've already cut my linen thread. It's 12 inches and you're going to bear with me because I am not good at tying bows, but we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. We need to do this first before we put our other little bow on so that we know where it goes, our white bow. So I'm going to do like that. And then hopefully it'll be easier than normal. And there we have our bow. Now I'm going to play with it a little bit to get it how I want it and the length that I want it. And that looks pretty good right there. So see, we have our parts that move, which is exactly what we want. So that is that. And then I have a Stampin' Dimensional on the back of this bow. And there is a right and a wrong side to this. So try to make sure that the more textured side is the side that you want up. And then we are going to go ahead and put this bow right under where that other bow is tied. And there we have our tag, just like so. Super cute. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put the Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this because this is we're going to adhere this to our box later. So I'm going to put 3 of them down the back, just like this. And one thing I forgot to do right at the moment is I forgot to add these cute little red dots that look like little berries. And we're going to go ahead and adhere them to this tag. And we're going to put one here and one right about here. And then one up here, just like that. And there, that just adds just a little extra texture and interest to that tag. So let's go ahead and set that one aside. And let's bring in our second tag. Now there are 8 tags to this set, and 8 gift boxes. So let's go ahead and set our pieces aside here. And we're going to do the stamping on this one on the back. And the sentiment we're going to stamp on this one is sending a little Christmas cheer from our home to yours. I thought it said with love, but I knew it didn't say that. So I was stuck for a minute on what it said. All right, get our stamp pad in here again, and we're going to go ahead and ink this up nicely. I had to re-ink this the other day. It was a little low on ink. But these sentiments, the print on them is fairly delicate. So they're going to stamp very nicely. So sending a little Christmas cheer from our home to yours. Give that a good press. Let it sink. Let the ink sink in. And there we go. See, it is a very delicate stamp. So we don't need to do much. Even if you've inked it up, it's not going to, you're not going to see a really intense stamp there. It's just a very nice and easy. Okay, so here are our 2 elements for this. Now again, they're green and they're the natural color. One is going to be the natural color and one is going to have the green side. So I've got my little mini glue dots on both sides of these, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere these together, and then we're going to adhere it to the tag we just stamped on. I'm just going to go ahead and grab these off of here like this. And then this is how I like to do it. Now this little part right here, this little pointy part, the way I kind of figured it out is you want that to be basically straight up and down, and you want those kind of circles to overlap each other. And then that gives this a place to, it kind of sets it where you want it. So I always made sure that this stays up, straight up. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip that over. And as you can see, I've got the mini glue dots on the back of that. So I'm going to take the backing off of those. And maybe, there we go there. Here we go. Whoops. With the backing came my elements. Picked it up. Okay. And then this is going to go on the front of our tag right here. And this is going to go fairly high up, and it's going to curve a little bit about like that, about like yay, about like that. So just give that a nice little press. You can see that it still leaves room for that to go, for the twine to go through there, the baker's twine. So let's go ahead and tie this bow again. Now I've got my baker's twine. It's already cut, or linen thread, I guess is what it is. So we're going to feed these through here. And I'm glad it's linen thread because it is a lot easier to work with for me than ribbon. Sometimes I find the ribbon a little hard to work with. So give that nice and tight. Wrap that around, and it's working a lot better than yesterday. My fingers were not cooperating very well yesterday, so this is going a lot better than yesterday. So there we have that tag, and then the final part is the bow, and I'm going to put that bow a little high up, and it's going to cover that circle part of those two twig or berry embellishment things right there, those layers. So just like that. And then we're going to add a couple of these to this. And let's put one, let's put one right about here. And put another one right about here. And then we're going to put one right on that one, right like that. And on this, I'm going to flip this little, bow behind that Merry Christmas a little bit so you can see it. So there, that's perfect. Now, I'll go ahead and put the mini dimensionals on the back of this, but I'm only going to make one box. So, but again, 3 mini dimensionals go on the back of this because you would adhere it to the top of your box. So there we have our tags. And now I'm going to show you how to assemble the box. It's actually very easy. So this is the inside of the box, and there's only one part that they've already burnished down, but there are fold lines in all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and on each one of these score lines, I'm going to go ahead and fold these so that they're somewhat burnished. Now, I didn't use my bone folder on this. I didn't really think that it was necessary to do that. If you want to make sure that it's nice and crisp, you can do that, but I didn't feel like it was necessary. So I just made sure that every part of this was the way that it was supposed to be. And I folded it, so I folded them so everything went in, because everything does go in when you put this together. Now this is a little tricky, but this is how I did it. I brought these two parts. Let's fold this back a little bit. I brought these two parts together because see those two little flaps, they go inside. And then I brought this over them, and there's a little divot on the bottom of that. Let's see if I can show you. And it goes like this. Well, it's so much easier to do when you're not doing it for the camera. So see, there's a little slit right there, and that's what that one part that I'm pressing in is going to go in right there. And that holds it together. Then I'm going to press these again, and these go just right in, just like so. And there you have your box. Super, super cute and really super easy to make. So let's go ahead and bring in our Merry Christmas, and we're going to attach this. Now, I found that in doing this, what I liked to do is I kind of moved this tag out of the way, and then I made sure, or I tried to make sure, that my tag was about the same. It was about the same distance widthwise from on each side and about top to bottom. And then when I got that right, then I could bring this back over. Because if this is crooked a little bit, I was paying too much attention to where this tag was, the top one that moves, instead of the underneath one, which is what adheres to the box. So that's just a little tip on how I did it. So there you go. That is all that you need to know. These are super, super cute. You can stamp them obviously however you want, and you can embellish them however you want. You can switch the way these are done. You can turn them different ways. There's so many different options with these, and I didn't make another box, but there's so many options with these, and they're super, super cute. I think some little candies could go in there. You could chapstick, maybe a little bit lipstick, potentially a gift card. I think they're 4 by 2 3/4. So maybe a gift card could actually go in there. I haven't actually checked that out, but hopefully they can. So that is it for tonight, friends. I'm going to go ahead and flip this camera back around, and we're going to wrap up. So that is the November paper pumpkin. And I just think these gift boxes are super, super cute. So if you aren't a subscriber, go ahead and you can subscribe. I know the refill for these are out already. So you could get these in time if you wanted to make some for Christmas. That would be great. So I appreciate you joining in with me tonight so very much. As always, every time you join in, hit the like button, share this with your friends. You can always watch the replay if you would like to on my Facebook channel, or you can watch it on my YouTube channel. So I would appreciate that if you share that with everyone. And until we meet again on Wednesday, have a wonderful evening and a great week. Thanks, friends. Bye.